Hello, everybody. This is Pete from PA Labs, and I want to do a video on three of my favorite little topics. Clipboard, which is extremely easy to use, and then date time, which can be challenging for some. So I want to start off really, I guess I should have put that in reverse order instead of alphabetic, but we're going to start out with date time. Now, I have a slew of procedures that some of these I have in static, like get day, month, year, and day of week. I believe I have all of those into the static um, class sheet that I have in just about every app I make. But I did track down a few of the others that I've used in other projects, which gives you the date of the first of the month and it gives you the date of the last day of the month, regardless of, right now it's set to use the current month, but it can be tweaked extremely easy. All you would have to do is move your my date, or we could call it probably uh, for date, uh, like this, and then we could come in here and supply for date. All right, so now it's actually going to do the first of the month for whatever month you want to give me. Or we can do the last day of the month and you could pass in a date there too. So however you want to do it, it's real easy to tweak these formulas. I actually, at one point in my life, even had the leap year formula to calculate even across centuries. So most people don't know on the leap year formula that you got the 4-year thing. That's pretty easy. But uh, the 100-year 4-year increment is skipped every 100 years as well. So anyhow, there's a big formula. You could look it up and code it in, and you could actually build a formula that says, is this a leap year? And give me all the leap years for the next, millennia. So, I mean, I've had to do stuff like that in my life, different languages, but it's all pretty much the same. One of the ones I do want to point out, because thinking in terms of dates is not what the human brain is ever taught to do. Excuse me. We as a species are taught to deal in values of tens, a base of 10, and time works in a base of 60. So unless you have actually worked on like a time card system or something to that effect, your brain doesn't think that 60 plus 1 is actually a minute and 1 second. So it's where you flip over the digits, and sometimes that gets kind of confusing. Last day of the month is a very simple formula. You take the date, the current date, and then convert it to the first of the month, hard code a 1 in there, add a month, and then subtract a day. No matter what date you want to give it, that formula will return the first of the month um, for the year supplied or for the current month, or for the date supplied or for the current month. And you can do stuff like that all you want. And there's a lot of stuff you can look up on the internet on dates. A Julian date, you don't really see this much. I've actually done systems where Julian date was the date of the database, and actually, if you think about it, it makes so much more sense than using our dates. And you can convert backwards and forwards, although I didn't put the convert backwards. Maybe I'll look that up and get that in here. But a Julian date consists of the current year and then the day of the week. Um, well, the formula in PureBasic is day of year. So it's the day of the year. So January 1st is 2025-01 or 001. So then or actually it can just be one, really. No, it's got to be 001 because it'll go all the way to the end of the year, which would be 2025 365. 366, unless it's a leap year, will actually be 2026 001. So I do need to tweak, well, let's see. Yes, I do need to tweak this formula to make sure that that returns a 3-digit. So that's a simple tweak right here. I'll put it in before I put this code out there. And it makes so much better sense. It's smaller than the normal date, which is 8 digits. This is 7, so as you save a whole byte every time. It's always sorted in order. You always have the year day 1 through day 365 or 6, whatever the year is. And years automatically go in term of years. So you got 25 is following 24 is following 23. So many things are automatically handled for you if you use Julian dates. The only problem is you got to convert an actual date on a screen to the year, to the day of the year, which this formula does right here beautifully. So saving a database with a month, day, year is kind of crazy, unless maybe you have to have the hours, minutes, seconds, and all of that tied in. If all you're dealing with is days, then Julian is by far your best adventure to use or avenue to go. So anyhow, I've got the formulas all in here, and I'll tweak this one. I have to get the day of the week, January, it would be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday versus the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Get the month, returns the string of the month, January, February, March. Easy to tweak for your language. This just comes in and does a select. Oh, that's getting the date. Okay, fine. Let's see. You can come in here and it just does a select on the month and then returns the day. The day of week, that's the one I was referring to, of what the day is. So changing the spelling here to whatever language you want is fine. I mean, it's not a big deal. But it all depends on what you want to put on the screen or what you want to put on the page if you're printing these things out. So what I want to walk through is the format of a date. You have a bunch of characterizations, this mask right here. If we jump to format, I want to point these out. You're pretty much set in your head with what they're going to be. You got the 4-digit year, the 2-digit year. Okay, now the rest of these, with the exception of minute, is just makes sense. It's the percent sign for month, which is going to return 0102. DD for day, 01 to 31 or whatever. And then hours makes sense. And then you come up to minute. Well, M's already taken by month, so they did it with I. Once you remember that little tweak, you never have to look these guys up again. And I want to point out that every single language you ever touch in your life, these codes will be most likely different. Okay, especially, the 4-digit year, 2-digit year, month, day, hours, and seconds are probably pretty cool. A lot of times you can run across just a single MD and Y. So instead of YY, they'll just have one digit, which returns the two digit or what have you. 1M, so it doesn't return a two digit number. If it's January, you'll get just the digit 1, not 01. Same with month and day, and that sort of thing. So it drops that leading 0. And then you have H, I, and S, which would be hours, minutes, and seconds, again, without the leading digit of 0. Most of the times for uh, minutes, you'll run into MI instead of II. And believe me, this is just a tiny subset of what they've converted. I have seen tables with 30 and 40 different ways of returning values where they actually, with this, can have a whole set of additional things for additional date formats and stuff. It's kind of crazy. You go to three M's to get the initials, Jan, Feb, FEB, that kind of thing. And then sometimes they do four M's to get the whole name, or they use the word month. Every language is unique and special. I mean, they've kind of gone to extremes on some of them, I think. But no big deal. You can easily look it up and format date. Let's see. So what I'm doing down here is end of month and calling the formula that returns the last day of the month. Actually, it returns a date object of the last, and then I'm formatting it. You have local time, which is your location, local time based on your computer settings, that sort of thing. And then they have the universal time clock, which I have always, a lot of times I've always used Greenwich because I was in the gas industry and pipeline industry for many, many years, writing software for them anyhow, let me say it that way. And so we always use Greenwich Mean Time. So dealing with leap year, where the ahead or back an hour for daylight savings time has always been a nightmare. So here we convert to universal time clock. You could actually save all of your dates as universal time clock. If you're saving date times, like you want to do timestamps on stuff, and then just convert to whatever time zone the people are in. So if you wrote an application in France and it's being used in America, then the local time zone would be returned for local, but the date in the database is actually the universal time clock. So it would be whatever time it occurred in real time, even if you were looking at this in France. So they are, what, 9 hours ahead of East Coast or something, 10 hours ahead. So anyhow, that's how that stuff is all used. And then you have day, which is going to return just the number. And then I call day of week, so you can get a look at that. And then Julian, it kicks down here the Julian date. So if I run this, and I haven't changed anything, then this will all kick back all the stuff we're thinking about here. Hours, minutes, seconds, the universal time clock, the local time here. Wow, I guess my clock hadn't been set in a while. Let's see. Day of '02, or it's Wednesday, July or '07, your choice. The Julian date is the year, and it's day 183. And then we're done with dates. So if you want to take and copy all of these and put them into your static or shared functions project code, uh, then you could have all of this at your disposal should the need arise. And if you don't call it, what big deal does it make just having some extra code? So anyhow, Clipboard is exceedingly simple. You have a clear the clipboard, and then you have set clipboard text, and you pass it text. So if you think in terms of like Class Builder does this, where you want to do a select all and then copy the clipboard, that's all he's doing is copying the text off the Stencila gadget and then pasting it on the clipboard as text. And then everybody in the world can do a paste. What is it? Control V is the same thing as get the clipboard in code. PureBasic also supports image, so you can get a clipboard image, and then you can also set a clipboard image. So, and there is a way. Hold on, I gotta go look this up. I know there's a way to ask the clipboard, do you have text, or do you? Isn't there a way to do that here? Set clipboard. Let's do. Maybe they did it over here. For the use there are functions available. Clipboard text. I guess not. I guess I'm getting my languages confused. So you're going to have to get the clipboard image. So make sure you know it's there, and then the all-important depth. If they are putting a PNG that is transparent, that's a 32-bit depth. So you need to make sure, otherwise what will happen if you get the image off the clipboard and you do not supply the 32 depth, then what will happen is it's going to come in as the default of 24, and everything that's invisible is going to be completely black. Okay, so if all of a sudden you're using an image and everything that you thought was blank is black, then you know you've oopsed the depth on some command, and always it's optional, and always it's the default of 24 in PureBasic, which means no transparency. So everything transparent is black. So that's just something to keep in the back of your head and have there. To all of a sudden you're going to see it go black, and you're going to go, oh, that's right. Pete said that's going to be a depth thing. Where have I played with the image and left off the depth? So you automatically know what you're searching for. So that concludes this next video. And as always, thank you all for watching.